Yeah, hi all. Welcome to Data Analytics and BI channel. Today, now we will discuss about deployment pipelines. Let us go through the concept. So, why do we use deployment pipelines? So, we have in every IT industry or in every coding language or in every project, we have three environments. The first environment is development, the second environment is testing, and the third environment is production. So we have deployment pipelines. We also have the same pipelines in Power BI service. So why do we go for deployment pipeline? For example, we developed the report and we want to put it in a development environment in such a way that our team leader or manager test it. Once the testing is completed on the development project, then that project moves into the testing. And in the testing, user acceptance testing, it's a UAT. So in the testing environment, the client or the business owner comes into picture and they test the reports or the project in the IT industry. And once we get the approval from the clients, from the business owner, then the report in the testing environment moves to production environment. So so what do we do in Power BI? So we just go here to Power BI and we click on publish and we publish it to the workspace. So what every time there is no need of publishing into the three workspaces. So here the workspace itself is an environment. So what do we do here? We go for the workspace, dev workspace, test workspace, and production workspace. So whatever we do, we publish the report to the development workspace, and from there, the report or the project should follow through the deployment pipelines in order not to miss the versions or the changes that we are making. So deployment pipelines in Power BI service help manage the life cycle of the content. So what are those? Dataset, reports, and dashboard across different environments. Typically, you see these are all the pipelines that we have it. It ensures smooth migration of changes, version control, and reduce errors when publishing the reports to the end user. So this is the reason we go for pipelines. And what are all the stages in the pipelines? So we have the development, initial workspace. Developers create and test reports, dashboards, and datasets, and frequent updates and the changes. For example, we publish the report to the dev, and our team leader or manager testing the report in the development. And our manager said that we need to go through some changes. Then again, what do? We make changes in the work project or in the report, and we again publish that report to the development. And after the development, so the test that the report moves to test. That we do not publish the report to the test environment. So what do? We use deployment pipeline, and from the development pipeline, that report goes to the testing development workspace to the testing workspace. So what happens in the testing workspace? UAT means user acceptance testing or unit testing. So here, stakeholders or the quality assistant or quality team, they validate the data accuracy, visuals, performance, and the security. So it uses production like data or the test data. So they test their report, whether the values are matching or the visuals are correct. Do we need to make any changes to the visuals or the color coding of the visuals? So that happens in the testing from the client side or from the stakeholders or the business owners. And then we get the approval. Once we get the approval from the client stating that okay, this can be moved into the production environment, to the live environment, then what do? We create a final workspace where the business users can access the report. So stable, reliable reports, no direct editings, no nothing. We will not be editing anything in the production environment. Whatever the changes that we do not make the changes in the test environment also. We only make the changes in the development environment only. We do not make any changes in the testing environment, and also production environment. Keep it in your mind. And the next one, how does it work? Okay, so we create deployment pipelines in Power BI service and assign a workspace to each stage: dev, test, and production. And you can deploy from one stage to another stage, from dev to test and test to production. Power BI automatically detects differences between the stages, and we can review, and we can also give the comment notes what kind of a changes that we made in here. Benefits, what are all the benefits? So we can have the version control, because every month Power BI pushes the new version, so we can have the version, and we can also reduce the errors, and we can automate whatever the parameters that we have, and we can have the rights. And how does it happen? You see the deployment, if you see the screenshot. So we develop the reports. Once it is ready, then it goes to the testing. Then the tester or other developers, they test it. Then it goes to the production. Then they will be the business users. The managers from the client side, general managers, vice presidents, they access the reports. So, so who can use deployment pipelines? So always remember Power BI. So we pro user, they can't create the deployment pipelines. Only the premium per user capacity can create. So please, others can go on mute, please. So Power BI premium license can create the deployment pipelines. So let us see that how do we create. Let us see that how do we create the pipelines. So you click on the three dots. You have an option called as deployment pipelines. So what here, if you see, new pipeline, assign the workspace, develop and test your content, and share with the users. Let us click on the new pipeline. So let me go for the pipeline name is pharma sales. So, so we can add the description. So pharma pipeline. So whatever the name, whatever the description that we want to go for. So handled by account key manager. So let me click on next. So if you see, there are three pipelines, three stages: development, testing, and the production. So I mean, if you do not want the development, if you do not want the testing, you can delete the testing environment. Or if you do not want the development, you can delete the dev environment. But this is the standard, this is the standard environments or the stages that we have in the corporate, in the IT industry. So let me click on create and continue. Yes, we have created the three stages. Okay, so what do we have? We have new deployment pipelines. So I can expand it. I can select the reports if I want to go for. So let me disable the new development pipelines. Okay, let me go through the older one. So I can choose a workspace to assign to this stage. Let me click on the pharma sales analytics dashboard that we already created. Okay, that we already created, and click on assign a workspace. Yes, you see successfully assigned workspace to the development. So what we did, we created the deployment pipelines, and in the development environment, we assigned the workspace. Okay. So what do you do if you want to move this into the test environment? So we can click on show more. Okay. And we need to check, this is the data set semantic model and pharma sales dashboard, and click on the report also. And what do you do? We need to click on deploy. Okay. And you see adding the notes. We have an option called as adding the notes. So what do we need to do? So we can write development is completed. Development is completed. Moving the report, moving the report to the test environment, to the testing. And we can write. So in general, what happens in the industries, in the organization, so the users or the developer raise the request or the incident. So once the incident reaches to the team leader or the manager, then the team leader and the developer and the manager have the meeting, and they review the report, and it goes to the testing. So here we will raise the incident. Okay, incident inc. So I'm writing some number. Okay, and in future the manager or higher level, they come and check the incident. Okay, from the incident, with this incident, when the incident is approved or completed, then it goes to the click on the deploy. Okay, it is creating the workspace. So it is creating the pharma sales analytics dashboard test workspace. Either we can create the workspace and we can deploy the reports, or we can directly give it to the environment so it automatically creates. Now you see successfully deployed content to test. So let me click on go to workspace. Now you see, did we create any workspace? Previously we only have two workspaces. You can expand it. This is a new version, new update that we received from the Microsoft. You see, we have only the single workspace. Now you see we have the test workspace. Okay. Now let me go to the deployment pipelines again. You see the deployment pipeline with the rocket symbol. Now what do we need to do? We need to deploy the report to the production. Let me click on show more and click on select. We need to select. Remember, need to select the data set or the semantic model and the report, and click on deploy. So here we also have the same thing. So what do we need to do? Stakeholders here, stakeholders or the business owners are the clients tested the report. Here also we need to write deploying it to deploying to production. And here also we need to go for incident inc. So here I can write. And what happens here? So we also raise after the testing, we raise one more incident to the client stating that if you approve the test, can you please accept the, or can you please clear the incident? For example, if client requested some changes, then again we go through the Power BI and we make changes in the report. Okay, then from here we publish the report to the dev environment only, not the test. From there, again we review, the team leader, manager and the developer reviews the report. Then again it goes to the test environment. From the test, again the user tests, and again then it goes to the production. Then click on deploy. Now the report is getting deployed into the production. Let us see whether, you see, only we have, now you see it is being created. So previously what we have, so we only have a single workspace before the testing, and the test environment, test workspace is created. When we deployed the report from the test to production, the production workspace is also created, you see. And let me click on go to workspace. Now you see we have got the report in the production workspace also. Now let me go to the pharma sales workspace. Click on the deployment history to know what we have deployed. You see, we have deployed at 7:24 a.m. So I can click on the notes. In future, if someone want to see why did we deploy and on what changes did we deploy. Now I can say deployment is completed. I'll write the moving that report to the test environment incident, so that the other people or other developer, they can go through the incident and state and look at the incident. So most of the times the incident or the request or the ticket is raised in the service now. And I can also go to the notes here. stakeholders, business owners, client tested. I can write the name of the business owners at the rate, the mail IDs, deploying into the production incident, so that we will not be getting anything in future. And you see, we have got the date and time and deployed by. So I'll deploy it by name. Okay. So this is what, and I can also click on manage access. Who I want to give. Chandra Mitra is the admin. So if I want to add the team leader team leader or the user at the rate, so I can give the permission. So the other person can also edit or go through the deployment. So this is what the deployment pipeline. So what do I do from here? For example, if I want to make any changes to the report, so I got a requirement stating that I need to add some filters. So I need to add some filters or I want to make some changes. So here it said total sales by years. So client requested to add the month also or the quarter. So what do? I expand and I expand here. I'll add the year, quarter, and also the month. Okay. So what do? I will go to the pharma sales dashboard again, click on the publish. Let me click on save. Now you see we got 3 workspaces. But what do? I do not directly publish it to the test environment. I do not publish it to the production environment. Now I will publish it to the dev environment. Click on replace. It is asking, so whether do we want to, already the report is existing. Would you like to replace? Let me click on replace. So now the report is getting published and click on got it. Let me go here. Let me go to the workspace and click on this. So let me make some changes. Okay, click on workspace changes. So here what do? Let me make it dev. Okay, dev, and click on OK. Click on OK. Where is that? I think already changed. You see itself, it is changed. Now you see deployment in the development. You see the pipeline. You can also view the deployment pipelines over here. And let me click on this report and let's check whether the edits are being implemented or not. So let me go here. So where is that? If you see, yes, we have the total sales by year, quarter, and month space. Okay, let me create other workspace. So what do? Pharma sales. So let me make it only pharma sales dashboard. And here I'll write dev and click on. So what if I do not make it? So it is only, for example, if I go for pro user and click on apply. Okay, I created, and let me publish this report to that. Where is that? Yeah, pharma sales dashboard. And let me click on OK. So let the report publish. Yes, it is published. Let me click on refresh. Now we have created. Now what I want to do, I want to create the deployment pipelines. Click on deployment pipelines and click on new pipeline. So what do here? I'll go for pharma sales. So let me create pharma sales pipeline. And let me click on next. So it is asking me, do we want to add the stages? So let me click on create. This is the older version, so that is the reason. We could not find any workspaces for this. Why don't I have any workspaces? Because let me click on the workspaces. Sorry, let me click on the workspaces. And if I go to pharma sales dashboard dev, so what do we have? So let me click on workspace setting. We do not get the option because the reason is the workspace. Where is that? License and info. Go to license and info. You see the license configuration is pro. For the pro, we cannot have the deployment pipelines. So what do? I'll go for premium per user and come down and click on, you see small semantic model storage format and large semantic model storage format. Let me click on small, start license and click on continue. Now you see premium per user. So you will get SKU PP3 region Central India. So it automatically identifies as per the location that we are in. Now let me go to deployment pipelines and click on new pipeline. So we already created the pharma sales pipeline. Let me click on this. And now you see we got the pipeline. And one more thing you might have observed that you can create a single pipeline for the single workspace. Okay, you can create single pipeline for single workspace. I think, do we have the point over here? Yeah, only one pipeline per workspace. A workspace cannot be in multiple pipelines. Okay, does not support deployment between different tenants, which means for example you are working in IBM and you are sharing, if you someone is trying to share to other Infosys, you can't share it. Only within the organization you can have the pipeline. Okay, now let us go through this. Let me click on pharma sales and let me select. We did not create any workspace. Okay, for example, let me go to click on new workspace, and what do I do? I'll create pharma sales dashboard, and here what do I do? I'll go for test and click on apply, and let me go for advanced. Let me make it into premium per user. Click on apply. Okay, now let me go to deployment pipelines, pharma sales, select the dev, and here is, if you see, pharma sales dashboard test, and let me click on assign workspace. Yes, I have assigned. Previously what happened, we did not create any workspace. Automatically it created the workspace whenever we tried deploying the report from dev to test. So what do I do here? I'll check the I'll check the report and the data set and click on. So let me click on assign workspace. Yes, it is assigned. Let me click on deploy and deploy. So it is getting deployed. So copying whatever the information that we have it, whatever the data set or the report that we selected, so it is deploying it to the test. Now you see it is matched, the tick mark, it is matched. And if I click on, I can click on more option. I can click on more option. I can have the publish app, unassigned workspace, workspace access, and workspace setting. So I can click on deployment history. I can also go for, what is this option? Deployment rules. I can also go for the rules. And let me come down. I can also go for new deployment pipelines. You see, this is what we have it. Let me move up. I can select, okay, I can click on deployment. I'm not getting any option. Why? Okay. So let me pull it down. So let me click on this stage setting and assign publish app. Okay, this is what we can go for deploying the reports. Now if you see, okay, now if you see, so let me go to the workspace test and let us check whether we have the report published or not. Yes, it is published.